NASCAR came to the Pocono Mountains in 1974. 300 drivers have raced on the Tricky Triangle in Sprint Cup Series competition. Just 28 have been to victory lane. This is the 64th race for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series teams here in Pocono.
Beautiful afternoon as we get set to go racing here in Pocono on a very uniquely shaped racetrack
that has confused race teams and drivers for so many years. And here we go again.
Back him up, back him up, back him up.
Here he comes for the first time as an owner-driver. Tony Stewart has won.
God, I'm proud of you guys. Woo!
And welcome to a soggy Pocono, Pennsylvania. Trackside stage. Inside this gigantic racing facility, as I said, it's been here since 1974. Jeff Hammond, Larry McReynolds, Steve Burns, and Elliott Sadler with a few of our soggiest but most faithful friends. It's rained here most of the day here on Friday. We got a little bit of practice in. Hey, glad you're with us. Glad you are back with us.
Glad to be back. How about, is this dedication?
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
yes,
Yep.
it is.
Good. Hard as it's rain.
Absolutely. This is why we say the NASCAR fan is the #1 sports fan that exists. Absolutely.
Hey, Elliott, Larry Mack said it wasn't going to rain today.
I heard that. We were all in the trailer going.
It was wishful thinking.
Or not thinking at all. Which one was it?
I woke up with Al this morning.
Oh,
That
okay.
You know,
was
it's
the problem.
funny. He had a 50-50 chance.
Obviously, it went the other way.
Went the other way. Yep.
Hey, got a great show for you coming up. In just a few minutes, Marcus Ambrose will join us. Clint Boyer is also here. Guys,
Good day, mate.
good day. We're all fizzed up.
That's it.
Big win by Jimmy Johnson at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He goes back-to-back, his third win, and his reputation, Elliott, as a closer just increases.
The move he made going into turn one, guys, all we worried about all week was double file restarts on a single file track. And the way he went around Mark Martin on the outside and got that momentum to turn two, great chance he took, yes, and the way he's in the points, he could do that. But, man, to pull it off and then hold Mark Martin off the last couple laps, I'm like you, Steve. He's the best in the business when the money's on the line.
He's a closer. But, guys, as we're going to listen to here in just a second, everybody talking about Juan Pablo Montoya. He led 116 laps, but then got caught speeding. It's time now for our Inside Sprint Cup Mobile feature. This week, we take a listen to that 42 team leading up to and following their final pit stop at the Brickyard.
Radio check, check 1, 2. 10-4, got you. Check 1, 2. I got you there. You got me okay? Got a copy. 10-4. Pit next time. Pit next time. 4 coming in. Copy that. Vince, if you see the 18 guy, go tell him we're pitting, please. All clear. Remember, don't go hard through 4. Wave your hand big here. Wave your hand. You're fine. You're good. Good to go, buddy. Good to go here. On pit road, gentlemen. On pit road. Start looking now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Perfect. Stop. Go hard. All the way. All the way out. All the way out. All the way. Too fast entering. Pass through. No way. I was on this. I was already on it. I guarantee you. I bet you money. I was on it. Actually, I was on the yellow when it came in. That was the check time. You keep digging, but they've caught it. You're clear. Go another lap here. Go a lap. You know, I never badmouth NASCAR, but if they do this to me, I'm going to kill them. Because I need not speed coming in. There's no way. I was on the green. Had 3 green lights all the way from before, maybe 30 yards before the line. Thank you, NASCAR, for screwing my day.
Well, that was it, guys. They lost any chance they had at victory and absolutely dominated that race, Jeff. But there's a lot of issues here at play.
There's a lot of things that you got to ask questions about. I mean, from myself being a former crew chief, first thing I've got to ask is with a 5-second lead, somebody should have been on the radio letting him know, look, don't speed going down pit road. We listen to the radio transmission. I will never criticize another crew chief, but that would not be the procedure I would have done. I'd have been telling that driver, pit next time by, don't speed on pit road. Just kind of reminding, friendly reminder. Big lead, man, big lead. Last stop. Let's make sure we don't beat ourselves. We say it too many times, don't beat yourselves. But I felt like they didn't tell him that then. They didn't tell him the speed as far as going back out. That's just something I always did with all of my drivers and let them know, because you could get caught with a speeding penalty. And at that point in time, it was not the place or the time to get it done, was it, Larry?
Yeah, and I think we've got some points we've got to make here. Pit road speed at Indianapolis last week was 55 miles per hour. Everywhere we go, no matter what the speed limit is, NASCAR gives you an additional 5 miles an hour. So that means at Indianapolis, you could actually run 60.00 and be clear. Now, back in the day when Jeff and I were on the box, the only way we knew what our pit road speed was is on the pace lap. It's the reason we use 2 pace cars under the pace lap to split the field up, is our driver would just get simply an RPM reading, and that's what he knew that he could run on pit road and make a pit stop. But with some help from our spec gauges that Pro Parts supplied us, I want to show you what Montoya was looking at, and you heard him say I had 3 green lights. What they do prior to the race, they don't even use the pace car anymore, is the engineers set the tack. And what we've got 7 lights here. If you see, I'm going to light up 7 yellow lights. That means I'm still well below pit road speed. Then we're going to get into some green lights. All right, there you see it. 3 green lights. That means I've still got a little bit faster. I can run up to right there, all 7 lights. That's it. At Indy, that was 60 miles an hour, and then what happens, we get into red lights, we're over 60. Now, what Montoya's claim was, he had 3 green lights, which actually should have only had him probably about 58 miles per hour, but the bottom line is, NASCAR has the scoring loops with the transponder. They monitor every single car in every single segment, and the bottom line, per their segments, in 2 segments, he was faster than 60.00 miles per hour.
Elliot, Monday night on This Week in NASCAR, Michael Waltrip and Greg Biffle both said, and it's easy to armchair quarterback, but they both said if you've got that good of a race car, as Jeff said, a 5-second lead, you're going to be on the conservative side coming down pit road. Again, easy for us to say.
It is easy, for us to sit here and say that. But, my heart goes out to Juan Pablo Montoya to have that kind of lead at the Brickyard. This is one of the biggest races of the year. He'll be the only man to win the Indy 500, Brickyard 400. And easy to say be conservative now, but when you got people like Mark Martin and Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, all these guys, Tony Stewart, chasing you for one of the biggest prizes in the sport, you're not going to try to give them anything. You come in for it with a 5-second lead, you want to leave with a 6-second lead. You don't want to leave anything behind. Give those guys a chance to catch you and feel like they can run you down, and then you might have to change the way of the race. So he did what he was supposed to do. He just maybe went a little bit too fast, and I hate to see that for him, but NASCAR does have the right systems to call it in place. It's just it was just a bad luck racing deal for him.
He said during practice today, yeah, but we did kick their.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
the point is,
Enough said.
He hung his hat, as we said. What racers do is we didn't win the race, but we ran good.
I think it's very important how the 42 car comes to Pocono this weekend and how they react to this, because there's still a couple races left to go to get into the chase. They're sitting in pretty good position. They really need to leave it behind them. I know the media and everybody's going to ask them about it today, but come Sunday morning, they need to focus on the job at hand. That's getting all the points they can to be a part of that team.
And I think they will. Brian Patty is doing an awesome job of leading that team right now.
Is that going to be on NASCAR Performance?
It certainly will. Airs 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning.
Good guess.
So if you want to know more, right?
I've set the DVR.
That's it.
I won't miss it.
I'm on TiVo.
All right, coming up, we'll be joined by Marcus Ambrose and Clint Boyer. Both those guys coming up a little bit later on here on Trackside. Stay tuned to NASCAR 7 days a week with in-car audio, live race, radio, stats, and more with NASCAR Sprint Mobile. It'll change the way you experience the race. Visit sprint.com/speed to find out more. That's only on the Now Network.
Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines and by NASCAR Banking, only from Bank of America. Your debit card, your credit card, your driver. Learn more at the Bank of America Banking Center today.
Emporia, Kansas, the hometown for Clint Boyer, driver of the number 33 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, a two-time winner in Sprint Cup Series competition. And please join us in welcoming Clint Boyer to Trackside.
How you doing?
Good.
How are you? Well, I'm dry right now underneath you guys' canopy you provided. So far, so good.
Very good, very good.
Wet. Raining in Pocono. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine, isn't it?
Did you have plenty of sunscreen on today?
I
All the
did,
sun
yes.
we had?
Yeah. Major sun screenage on. It was good for a while, you know. I got here, and my pilot actually said that definitely going to rain all day. And so I was kind of already in relax mode, and I got here. I was like, better pick it up a little bit. I think it might be showtime here soon. Didn't make it.
You just said the word didn't make it. What you going to do to make the chase this year? Right now, you got a little bit of work to do, but you got enough time to get it done in. And looking at your past performance at these racetracks we're coming to, you know, your record indicates you have done well at these tracks before.
Well, I mean, that's a breath of fresh air, is knowing that these tracks that we're going to are good tracks for me. But, you know, we got a lot of work to do. You said a little. We got a lot of work to do. 150
I was trying to be
points
kind.
back. You know, 150 points back, but the thing is, we're 150 points back from cars that have been outrunning us. There's a reason they're 150 points in front of us. So, you know, we got to pick our program up. We got to run better. We've brought better equipment to the track. You know, we're still struggling to get to finish. Chicago, we run up front. Indy, you know, we were good in practice and qualified good and inside the top 10. Shane and all the guys, they're doing a good job. We need more time together. I'll stick up for our race team. You know, last week it was frustrating, but, you know, I really feel like, you know, once we come to these tracks for the second time with a notebook, you know, together, we never had a notebook together, so we really don't have anything to reach to. So, you know, I feel like we can do a better job than what we're doing now. And once we hit our stride, going to these second tracks and then on into next year, I really feel like we're going to be a lot better.
I'm going to let these guys ask you the racing questions. I got a very important question. We're watching the film. Cheerios everywhere. I mean, how is that being to work with those guys? And where are my free box of cereal that you always tell me you can bring?
Honey Nut, right?
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerio. I'll handle that. You're my neighbor this week, so I won't have too far to go.
Just throw it right out the window and I'll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neither one of us probably get up too early, so you'll be ready for them by 10 o'clock?
Yeah, same
All
plan.
right, yeah. No, Cheerios has been wonderful. All the folks at General Mills, Hamburger Helper, it's been a fun ride so far this year. Their activation that they've done not only for myself but our race team has been huge. You know, they started the season off putting my face on 30 million packages at you know, through the grocery store.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, that was
30
a lot.
million?
My mug.
Woo!
Yeah, so
That's a lot of packages.
it was,
of cereal.
and that says a lot about you know, their dedication to the sport and our race team. So really proud of that. But you know, Hartford Insurance stepping on board and you know, with us at Pocono here. It's been a really good sponsor for us. It's been a lot of fun racing with them. Car looks good. You know, they're really enthusiastic about being on the car, and it's always fun to have sponsors like that. You know, they do a lot of fun promotions. Just go to hartfordracing.com. A lot of cool things going on there as well. So been fortunate to have really good sponsors, and we better get to running better so we can keep them.
You know, Clint, there's a lot of inner workings that go on within an organization to make things work with a sponsor. But I guess hearing you talk about the 33 team, the Cheerios team, and getting your feet wet together, you drove the 07 Jack Daniels car for 3 years and made the chase 2 years. It's like you and Gil Martin had been together for 90-something races. What was your initial thought when Richard came to you and said, you know, I'm starting a fourth team. Oh, by the way, you're going to be the driver of this new team I'm starting. Did it kind of catch you off guard at first?
Say what?
You talking to me?
You want me to do what? No, it was. Richard's a racer. You know, he's won championships. He's built a lot of teams together. He built, you know, one of the best teams and had one of the best drivers and always put good people under him. And you know, you have to have a guy like that leading your organization, and we're proud of him. I miss him this week. He's off hunting. You know, so yeah, I think it's been a good change. I was pleasantly surprised when we started a season off, and I felt like we got going a little bit better than we were prepared to run.
Yeah.
And you know, once we get time, the thing is, you know, we had a couple years together before we even went to Cup with that Gil and I had in the Nationwide Series. So there was a lot of experience together, racing together at these racetracks, and you know, it takes time to build that relationship.
Yeah.
More with Clint Boyer coming up. Meanwhile, we will remind you to locate campgrounds near the Watkins Glen International Raceway. Visit GoRVing.com. You'll also find virtual RV tours, a free DVD offer, and RV dealer and rental locations in your area. Tomorrow on Speed, Ron Hornaday leads the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series into the Music City. Tune in as he goes for a 5th straight. Skinner, Crafton, and Bodine gear up to take him down. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Nashville tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern here on Speed. Glad you're back with us here at Pocono, and we're hanging out with Clint Boyer. Clint, it amuses me when people from other sports criticize drivers for talking about their sponsors. But, you know, the fact of the matter is the model that your team has, where you have Cheerios, Hartford, you have a relationship with BB&T. It's kind of the future of the way this sport is going with multiple sponsors. And, you know, quite frankly, DeWalt's going away after 10 years. It is a part of your responsibility and your job.
It is, and you know, we can't do this without our sponsors. I mean, this sport is you know, it's corporate America driven. You know, without corporate America, we can't do this. We can't put a show on for our fans and can't compete at the level it takes to run up front. So, you know, we're all very fortunate at RCR to have good sponsors. All of our teams do, and you know, for me to have those sponsors, have the teammates, everybody at RCR, we have good people. You know, Richards has built an incredible complex up there in an organization, and you know, just he always tells you, you know, I've been in this sport long enough to know you're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows. It's how hard you're willing to work to get back on top. And, you know, that's the cool thing about him and being a racer. He understands that, and he works his tail off to make sure that he gets back to where he wants to be.
I think I got that sermon once or twice.
Yeah, maybe.
3 or 4 times, maybe.
You're talking about your car owner being a racer. You're also a car owner and a racer on your dirt team.
Yeah.
How's that going, and do you actually get to race on it much?
Actually, off weekend, I went back and watched the boys, Dale McDowell, and you know, the Dollar General stepped up and helped us out on that program. So really excited about the direction that car's headed. They're running in a Lucas Oil series and chasing down Scott Bloomquist. So boys have been doing a good job. He's running second in points, and they're off racing again this week. So better bring home some iron.
Now, Clint, one huge positive thing that happened to you a few weeks ago, you're running the Nationwide Series car, the 29 car, sharing that ride with Jeff Burton and Stephen Light, got RCR's first win period in 2009 at Daytona. And the other big thing that came out of that is now your name is above that door every single race the rest of the year. Now, Burton, I was standing there at Chicagoland, and he was trying to suck me in on the debate whether the halfway point was Daytona or Chicagoland. I said, I don't think it matters.
He was definitely
because
trying
he
to
won
renege
Daytona.
on that deal. He was definitely trying to pull back on that. I was wanting to get to figure out the square footage of the roof of that thing and make sure that my name was maxed out.
Nice
Big as it could be.
Yeah.
It slipped up a little bit, but I need to work on that. He was definitely trying to pull back on that and change the rules. No, I really don't think Daytona was halfway, you know, and so as my name's on it. So
but that had to be cool.
That
had to be cool getting that win at Daytona.
More importantly, to have Burton driving my race car.
Well, but at the same time, you talk about your name now on the Nationwide car that runs the entire circuit with different drivers, but your name on it. Do you miss not running? I mean, are you like tomorrow? I mean, everybody's going to be loading up from here. You know, Kevin Harvick, you know, one of your teammates, and Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch, they're all going to be going to Iowa to run the race. I mean, do you feel like sometimes like, man, I need to be going?
You know, I never realized it, but when you have bad weekends, it was always fun. You know, it always worked out to be that nationwide car seemed to run good. You know, and it kind of offset that a little bit. And you know, when you ran well in that, and maybe you stubbed your toe a little bit on the Cup side, you still had a decent weekend. You know, so it's been frustrating this year when you only run once and you don't do good. You're like, man, what? I don't have anything to lay back on, but. It is fun. It's a very important series. It's a fun series, competitive series, and each and every year seems like there's another organization that ups the ante. And, you know, the Gibbs cars have definitely done that. And, you know, I want to get back involved with our program. And we got Austin and Ty Dillon coming up and help those kids, you know, the way Kevin and Jeff helped me. So I'm hoping to run more races next year and be involved a lot more.
Clint, we're going to break. What should we talk about when we come back? Give us a good, hard hook.
Sun's actually coming out a little
it
bit.
is.
Wow. Yeah. These fans. Let's talk about the fans.
It's a sunny day here in Pocono.
Beautiful day.
The real Emporia.
Larry, you're going to need some sunscreen.
Emporia, Kansas, not Emporia, Virginia.
The other Emporia.
Trackside Live back in Pocono, Pennsylvania. Just a little bit later on, Marcos Ambrose will join us. Now spending time with Clint Boyer. And you know, Clint, I asked you the question about being the corporate spokesman, but I mean, really, when you look at, you came from a pretty small town in Emporia, Kansas, raced dirt tracks for trophies, not for big bucks.
Yeah.
You know, you had another job to help support racing, and here, I guess my point is now here you are representing corporate America. Did you ever think that would be a part of your life?
Not in a million years. Not in a million years. It was a lot of fun. A fun little story. You know, Elliot and I went to Blake Shelton concert the other night, and we were talking about fans. I was like, man, I used to be a body man. I worked in a body shop, you know, and what'd he tell us? What he used to do?
Hey, Blake?
Yeah.
He was roofed.
Yeah.
He put roofs on houses.
Yeah.
It's a tough job.
He was a roofer.
A roofer, he told us.
So we were all dreaming, you know, talking about having dreams as kids and working hard, but if you stay with what you're doing, you can make it. And what a lot of fans do not know, Clint can sing and play a guitar.
No. Deep
Little
into
John
the night.
Anderson.
Deep into the night. Our program picks up.
Now, is he one of those kind of guys that the more you drink, the better he sounds?
Yes.
No.
He said that. I just asked the question.
Coming from Elliot Sadler now. Come on now.
He's from Emporia.
Now,
The other Emporia. He calls it the other.
The other
Emporia.
So
All right.
are you a singer, Elliot?
No, but I was very impressed. He knows like
Yeah,
every
you
John
are.
Anderson
Karaoke?
song. Yeah, karaoke. I can do karaoke every once in a while.
Karaoke?
You mean croaky?
Yeah, karaoke. Yeah, whatever it's called.
Sounds like you're about to croak.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
So where do you sing at?
Blake's bus.
Shower?
No singing for me. I'll leave that to somebody else.
I want you to sing.
Oh, no.
Sing.
Oh, no.
Larry, I think you need to help him out.
Yeah,
maybe.
I believe I'm going to have to dig
Help
him
me
out of
out,
this
please.
one. Clint, your early career was all about motocross. You started racing two wheels at the age of 5, started in 1985, and what I read was over 8 years you had over 200 wins, and you still enjoy getting off on the two wheels and riding along, but obviously made the transition to the stock cars.
Yeah, you know, that was the weird thing about growing up and thinking how my career has ended up with car racing is, you know, my heroes weren't Dale Earnhardt, Elliott Sadler, and all these guys that I grew up watching.
Thank you.
It was Rick Johnson and Jeff Ward, you know, and watching their battles throughout the years. And then, you know, growing up racing with Ricky Carmichael and Kevin Windham, all the guys you see racing Supercross now, you know, those were the kids that we raced with. So it's a lot of fun to be able to stay in contact with that sport and to watch that. And, you know, watched Ricky bust his butt last night.
Yeah, I was
going to ask you if you saw that.
That was pretty wild. Looked to me like he was too high. Turned down like a ton of bricks, didn't he? But it was, you know, it's a lot of fun to be able to see him and his family coming over to our sport now and be able to hang out again. You know, I remember being at Loretta Lynn's, which is this next week, you know, at the Amateur Nationals and hanging out with them all week and enjoying, you know, motocross world. So it's been been kind of strange to think back how it all started and where it's ended up.
I really think you ought to do the rendition of John Anderson's Swingin', taking us to break.
Yeah, go ahead, Clint.
No.
He said it was deep into the night before that program picks up.
It's still daylight, guys.
Not if you close your eyes.
Pretend it's in the AM.
Come on, Clint, go ugly early. Let's go.
It's way too ugly.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Sunday on Speed, NASCAR Race Day returns to Pocono. We'll take an in-depth look at Kyle Busch's struggles this season and tell you if he's got what it takes to bounce back. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, 11 Eastern here on Speed. Clint Boyer is right. The sun coming out here at the Pocono Raceway. Everybody has a sunny disposition here on Trackside. Jeff Hammond, Larry McReynolds, Steve Burns, Elliott Sadler, Clint Boyer under partly blue skies. Clint Boyer was right.
Yeah. I just got a text from Darrell Walter on my Sprint phone, and he was asking me, he said, with Elliott in the morning when he gets up, he's got his wife to fix him some Honey Nut Cheerios or whatever he needs. He said, kind of like, check with Clint, see how's he doing. Is he getting ready to get married anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, but she definitely will make me a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, and I get that way. But I got me a good one.
You got your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Darrell. I mean, he's got himself a girlfriend.
He's dating way up.
Is he?
Yeah.
You outkick your
Yeah.
coverage too?
League.
Way outkicked his coverage.
That's good. That's the way to do it.
Outpunt your coverage right
That's
off the bat. Yeah.
If you look at all of us, every one of us married way up.
Way
Way up.
You got that right.
Well, the thing is right now, when are you going to be, brave enough to bring her around Trackside so we at least meet? It took him, how long did it take you before you
A while.
finally bring your wife around?
It took a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing
safe.
around you guys.
We'll either really help your relationship or really destroy it. One of the two.
Probably destroy it. That's what I'm leaning towards.
It's another episode of Wrecked.
Life in the crash lane.
That's
That's
exactly
it.
right.
Yeah.
Clint, I know it's all about 2009 right now,
Yeah.
but honestly, very quietly, you had a pretty awesome year in 2008. You won the Nationwide Series championship after finishing third and second the years before. You made the chase for the second consecutive year, finished fifth in the points. You won the race at Richmond. Honestly, even though it wasn't real noisy, you had a great year last year.
We did, and I need to figure out how to win more races. I'm not going to pull any punches. I need to lead more laps and win races and find that extra, the speed that it takes to do that. I feel like I'm consistent and I can, get the car to the end. But I need to lead more laps and win more races. And until you do that, you're not going to be heard of. Whether you finish fifth in the points or win championships, you got to be up front each and every week. And we're working hard to try to do that. I got the right people in place around me, and I just gotta dig deeper.
Clint, we lose sight of the fact because our sport is so competitive. We'll be doing practice and there's 35 cars separated by 0.6 of a second. Jeff Burton said it last week in Indianapolis. You were talking about we need to improve our program, and that seems like a simple thing to say, but if you're just a tenth or 2/10 off, you're running 30th.
It's extremely hard, and Indy, that place, you can find a half a second there just like that, and that last tenth to take you all day. If you ever do, and that's just how competitive this sport is. I tell you, the competition has really narrowed that gap up this year. Got a lot of teams and organizations. Before the season started running as well as we did as a company going into this season, you're looking at the guys that are going to be the newcomers coming into the chase. The obvious, Tony Stewart, Mark Martin being a factor. You look at those guys, but it's Juan Pablo, Rudeman and Kane's running a lot better. It's just a lot of cars that are running a lot better that have been a shock to you, and it's forced us to improve our program, step it up.
I'm going to let you get a chance to tell the guys at home what you're doing on your weekend off. I know you got a big event planned.
Yeah, off weekend we got our charity golf tournament in my hometown, the Real Emporia, Kansas, and going to the Emporia Community Foundation. We always have a lot of fun there and have a lot of friends from all over come in. So looking forward to it. Goes to a good cause for the
golf?
kids.
Did you find a band?
I walk around. Yeah,
okay.
I found a band, so got a good band to play. It's a lot of fun. Anytime you have a golf tournament and you can have that much fun for a charity, it's just it's a good feeling.
Clint, thanks a lot for hanging out with us.
Hey,
man.
thank you
We
guys.
it.
Appreciate what you guys do.
All right. Well, Rutledge Wood did such a tremendous job interviewing Greg Biffle last week as he continues to up his program. We've let him come back. He is backstage currently.
Thank you, Steve. I really felt like last week was a great lead-in, so I'm going to try to dig deep to those journalistic skills I learned. Welcome, Marcus Ambrose, to Trackside Live. How was that? Was that a good intro?
That was a great start. Sorry, I didn't know it was cue for me to start talking.
I know. I'm working on that part. How's your week, man?
Yeah, it's going great. You know, Indy was just a wonderful weekend. The Goodyear tyre was fantastic. You know, we hurt ourselves in the race. They didn't get the best finish, but we're out here this weekend at Pocono looking to get it back on track and hopefully get a top 10.
And you're really looking forward to, you really like being here, so much so that apparently you did some fishing here before. You bought 2 $20 rafts for tomorrow, is that right?
Well, that's right. Last time here, we actually went fishing, myself and engineer Chad Johnson from our team, and I'm floating around in the water up to my knees, and water moccasins just started coming out from everywhere. So we thought this time it was a good idea to actually float on the water, not be in it with the snakes. So we're going to float downstream. We're going to park one car up at a bridge and park a second car somewhere else. Hopefully we make it there before the rafts go flat.
And what did you say? I asked you if you had even checked out the river yet. What did you say?
Oh, I MapQuested it.
MapQuest,
Yeah.
apparently in Australia, is acceptable form for checking out a river because you don't know if there's any rapids, anything else?
Well, that $20 raft, so, I mean, if we hit a rock, we're in trouble. So I expect that we're probably going to walk out the last portion of it. I just hope we get far enough to get to the car before dark.
Well, if you need a third, I'm open tomorrow. We got lots more Trackside Live coming up, and thanks for bringing this little Debbie. Tell Deb I said hi.
That's right.
Marcus Ambrose and a whole lot more. Stay tuned.
Marcus Ambrose drives for Michael Waltrip Racing. He comes to Pocono 18th in points. What a tremendous year it's been for the two-time Australian V8 Supercar champion. Back here on Trackside Live, Marcos Ambrose with us. We welcome Marcos to the show, and we open up the Shell garage by asking Marcos, you had a great run here earlier this year. What's it like to get around this tough racetrack?
Well, I don't remember much about last race here. I was really struggling around here in practice, and we hit on a pretty good setup for the race, and we played the fuel mileage game towards the end there and got a top 10 out of it. But this place, they call it like a road course race, but it's, for me, coming from road racing, I mean, it's one of the toughest places I've ever been to. It's really difficult. That tunnel turn over the back, every lap, I just take a deep breath and hold on.
I tell you what, you know, we've had a lot of storylines this year in our sport, but I got to say the way the 47 car has ran and how consistent you guys have been the last 2 or 3 months has been one of the biggest stories, I think, of the whole year.
Thanks, Elliot. I mean, we're really proud of how we've gone. We've exceeded our own expectations, so when you can do that, you're normally on a pretty good thing. And you know, we're a brand new team. JTG Doherty is brand new to the Cup Series. We've got a lot of help with Michael Waltrip Racing for supplying cars and parts and assistance. But we are a new team. I'm a brand new driver to the Cup Series. And, you know, just to be holding on, I think, is all I wanted to do this year. And we've shown speed. I'd love to be more consistent in the top 10 running, but, you know, we've got to appreciate what we've already done. And I'm excited for the future. You know, we're on a good thing, and we're locking away, hopefully, in the next few weeks, our future for the next couple of years.
You know, Marcos, we sat down with you and Daryl's coach a few weeks ago, and we were just chatting, and you were telling us that in 2006, you moved to the United States really without a distinct plan in place. You knew you wanted to pursue a NASCAR career. You told your wife, Sanja, let's go there. If it doesn't work out, we'll go back. And obviously it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not real good at plans. I kind of wing it a lot, you know. And you know, I just needed a change down home, and I started flying across to the US, try to make some contacts and meet some people in the NASCAR game. And really, we were going to treat it as a holiday. You know, let's go across to America, enjoy what America's all about, check it out for a while, and do a bit of racing and see how it all plays out. And we're still here. So it's been a growing deal for us. I've been with the same owners the whole time in NASCAR with Tad and Jody Kashekta, who have been wonderful for us, and now we have Brad Doherty, of course, on board as well, which has really lifted us again. And it's just a wonderful experience for me, and I never dreamt I'd ever be racing here in NASCAR, especially at the Cup level, but I'll take it. You know, it's a pretty good gig.
I would say.
Well, you talk about lifting up, and you mentioned Brad Doherty. What is it like having him as an owner? Because again, I think he's done a really great job. A lot of people don't realize that because he's been kind of like under the radar, but folks don't realize that Brad has always been a diehard racer. Even when he got out of his original, stopped playing for Cleveland back in the beginning, he was a truck owner way back in the very inception of the truck series. So.
Well, even before that, he grew up with Robert Presley, our best friends,
right.
and he was going to short track racing as a kid with his father, and so he's been in racing all his life, and he races cars now. I mean, he's just a race fan. Just like the rest of us. I mean, we love to race, and that's why we're all here.
I bet he fills the cockpit of that race car completely up from pedals to roof.
They built him a special car. I think it's slightly longer in the wheelbase.
Does he ever coach you? Yeah, former Tar Heel. Does he ever coach you very much? You ever come in with like words of wisdom?
He doesn't really coach anyone, but he just brings that level of expectation with him. He's a winner, he's a champion, and he brings that pedigree with him and expects of the people around him. So he doesn't need to say the harsh words. I think he's just got that aura around him like any professional sportsman does that's made it to the top. They carry with them the weight of expectation with everybody else. And that's
not to
what we
mention
try
he's
to
like
do.
6'12".
Well, that helps. He's quite a towering figure.
6'12".
I think he's about 7 foot.
Okay.
Hey,
Did you know he wore Mr. Tar Heel? Did you know he wore number 43 as a tribute to Richard Petty?
yes, I did. I'm surprised. I'm surprised a
Thank you
Maryland
very
Terp knows that.
I've been around.
You better carry us to break. This is going to get deep
All right.
and deep and deep.
We'll start having an ACC fight here shortly.
That's right.
More
You
with
don't have nothing to
Marcos.
fight with.
Come on.
Roll Tide.
Oh, now he brings Alabama in. Back at the Pocono Raceway, our thanks to Clint Boyer for joining us. Now Marcos Ambrose with us here. Jeff Hammond, Larry McReynolds, Steve Burns, and Elliott Sadler. Marcos, I want to ask you, I know that you really want to establish your reputation as a racer, not just a road racer. But the numbers that you put up back in Australia in that V8 Supercar Series were amazing. I mean, double-digit wins 2 years in a row and championships in a very tough motorsports that I think people in America really aren't that aware of.
Well, thank you, but there are less cars over there. So.
You're being
Modest.
too humble, modest.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to stumble across a great team, had a great time in my life, and ready to really make it work over there, and we did. We had a great 5 years over there, won a couple of championships, a lot of races. And I'm one of these guys, I like to wake up in the morning like, come on, let's go at it, let's do something new, fresh, and here we are. What's going on there?
It's called a talk back to a producer.
Elliott was talking to the producer.
Did you get caught?
Yes,
And
he did.
He got busted.
Marcos thought maybe I should stop talking now.
Are you giving me lip service or something?
That was beautiful. That was a Kodak moment right there.
I really wanted to ask you a serious question. That I get picked on so much about my accent, and then if you live over here now, and when you go back home, do you still have an accent, or do they think you got a bad one because you live over here now?
I cop it from both ends. I go back home and they accuse me of sounding American, and I come here and no one can understand what I say. So.
Hey, we're in the same ball game. They can't understand what I'm saying either. Okay, Larry, go ahead.
Marcos, you seem to really enjoy the outdoors. You've already talked about going fishing with rattlesnakes tomorrow. I'm not real sure about that one, but you enjoy
Water
mountain
moccasins.
climbing, water moccasins.
That's more believable.
You enjoy mountain climbing, dirtback racing, but the one thing that you are really getting into is, are you on the talk back right now?
No.
You just need to clean that up for me. It didn't sound right.
Yeah. Tell him what he said, because I don't even think I'm picking on dirt back.
Dirt bike racing. I'm trying to sound like you a little bit. I'm trying to throw the accent out there.
You've done that twice today.
Anyhow,
Trained professional.
answer my question. You enjoy dirt bike racing. We went through this one time with a kangaroo on my head.
Yes, that's
But
right.
the one thing that you really enjoy is panning for gold. Now, has Greg Biffle figured out how much gold you are now taking from his land? Is he starting to want a little bit of the action?
Greg's gone cold. I think he realises that he's sitting on a fortune, so he's kicked me off his place.
Oh.
But we've moved on. We've got a new place now. We're actually got big track hose, and we're getting ready to blow some stuff up.
Do you normally carry a little vial of gold with you?
Yeah, I don't have it with me. I'm sorry.
You should have brought it with you.
See, I told you I didn't have a plan.
This is a well-oiled machine.
We almost need to start this segment over.
It's like a tennis match. I don't know where to look. I got Hammond, Elliott. I don't know where to look. So I'll look there at you guys. When we come back, Jeff Hammond and Marcos Ambrose will retire to the Lazy Boy Lounge.
Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines. Brought to you in part by Go RVing. Go affordably. Go RVing. Visit GoRVing.com to get started on your road trip adventure. And by Cheerios. Good for the heart.
Next week, we're going to Watkins Glen, New York. We're going road course racing. Our guests, Boris Said and Max Pappas. And now we'll kick it back over to Jeff Hammond and Marcos Ambrose in the Lazy Boy Lounge.
I hope you're glad I kind of got you away from those guys over there. They're kind of beating you up a little bit.
They were, but you saved me. It's okay. We're sitting back here in the Lazy Boys feeling pretty good.
Let's do a little historical deal. You know, Larry asked you about the gold mining that you're doing. I think a lot of people don't know that state of North Carolina, they were the first group that was officially recognized as finding a gold strike, and that at the Reed Gold Mine in North Carolina, they found nuggets as large as 17 pounds, and I think the last one it was found was like 23 pounds. So
that's
pretty
right.
Impressive.
Oh, yeah, and that's back in the 1790s, and that's what I like about my gold prospecting. That I call it prospecting because I really don't find much. But, you know, it's all about the history of America and how it was settled and how everybody migrated to the West Coast following the gold. And just a really exciting story, and it's been a way for me to learn about it. But the North Carolina area, North Carolina, South Carolina, even Georgia, you know, it's got a lot of gold and it's still there. You know, people just, you know, don't know how to find it, but it's not that hard.
Not that hard, okay. Well, the other thing is now, notice you guys showed up this week, got a beautiful race car here with a new sponsor on iRacing.com.
We do. It's the world's best online simulator for racing. So it's all online based. We've got a great push this weekend. We've got a special offer out for $25, 3 months memberships, and you get use of the NASCAR COT on the game. And it's got over nearly 10,000 members now across the world. They've spent many millions of dollars on it, and it is by far the best racing simulator you're ever going to come across. I'm on there, Junior's on there, Martin Truex. I mean, we all go on there to actually, you know, improve our racing on the weekends, and it's a lot of fun. It helps you as a racer, and it's also a lot of fun.
So what you're telling me is you practice for Pocono already this week?
Well, I race during the week. It's just I've got to wait for the weekends to really do it for real on the track. But you can race all, you know, there's races constantly going on iRacing. It never stops. People from all around the world get together, and you actually compete against other drivers from around the world online.
You know, we mentioned about the fact that, you know, you've been establishing yourself as something besides a road course racer, but you've got to be looking forward to next week because you finished third there a year ago in the Wood Brothers car after starting dead last. So it's got to be one of those places that you're saying, I got it circled, I think I can do it again or do better.
I just want a road course weekend where I can actually start where I qualify. You know, both chances I've had last year for the Wood Brothers, and then at Sonoma we've had to start at the rear of the field. So it's been a big disadvantage for us. I like to think that we've got a good package for next weekend at the Glen. I think every weekend we've got a chance to really do well, Pocono included. So, you know, I don't want to put all my eggs in the one basket and saying it's either win or bust for us. You know, we've had a great year so far. We do expect to go well at Watkins Glen, but there are no guarantees. And you've got a lot of great road course races in NASCAR racing at the top level. I mean, there is no free lunch in this game.
Well, you talk about the free lunch situation. You've got a guy that's your crew chief that was a great sprint car racer in his own right, Frankie Kerr. Do you guys ever sit around and bench race? I mean, do you talk about the old times?
I've got a T-shirt. I've got a Frankie Kerr T-shirt from back in the day. And, you know, he's helped me a lot, really. I've come from road racing into stock car country, and he's come from, you know, sprint car racing and fallen into the stock car racing as an engineer and a crew chief. And he's really helped me, and he's got that seat of the pants feel that you just don't get with every crew chief, and I'm just very lucky to have him. Chad Johnson as well, a crew, my engineer, he's come from racing. A lot of us in our little team have actually raced in previous lives before they started working in NASCAR. So we're very lucky, and now Frankie's starting to teach me how to get it done on dirt too. So he's got me a little training program. We've got jumping in some different cars. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, since you bring that up, I mean, today Tony Stewart announced that the Prelude to the Dream once again is on, and it's going to happen September the 9th on Wednesday night on pay-per-view. But you're going to get in a dirt car, and you've only been in a dirt car one time in Australia, but you've never driven anything here in the United States on dirt. So you're going to run a 410 sprint car in a couple of weeks, and then a late model trying to get ready for the Dream, because you're going to be substituting or at least driving the car that I understand that Jeff Gordon's going to drive up at Eldora.
That's right. I did do one race for Kenny Schrader at his track at Macon, Illinois, which is like racing on a postage stamp. It wasn't really. I hit everything, and I just wasn't going fast enough to actually, you know, wreck the car. But we're getting ready to go for the prelude. We're really excited about it. Got to thank Tony a lot for giving me the chance. Originally, I was filling in for Jeff Gordon, but now I've got to do it for real, and we're really going to put a little program together and hopefully go to the prelude and not look silly.
Well, Steve, I think we're done being silly over here now.
You guys did a fabulous job. Our thanks to Marcus Ambrose and Clint Boyer. Don't forget NASCAR Live tomorrow at 3 from Pocono.